the last time Steph Curry played with a legitimate center? No, I'm not talking like Zaza Pachulia, washed up Boogie Cousins, Draymond Green. I get Draymond Green All-Star Defensive Player of the Year. Should have won it this year too, but he's not a center. He's 6'8", 6'7". Okay, when's the last time Steph's actually played with an elite center? The answer is never. And even if they get Kristaps Porzingis, they're not going to get an elite center. But welcome back to Let's Talk Ball with Cam from All Talk Sports, sponsored by Dabble Fantasy. Shout out Dabble. We'll get into them a little later. But we're going to talk about Kristaps Porzingis today. Obviously, the elephant in the room in the NBA is that this offseason is going to be one of the craziest offseasons in NBA history. And it starts with the Boston Celtics. Right now, they're still the reigning champs. Obviously, they're not going to be in a few weeks. But Drew Holiday, I already made a video. If you guys want to check that video out, I have him going to the Dallas Mavericks. And this video is about Kristaps Porzingis going to the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry needs a big man. Him, Jimmy, Draymond, and Kristaps. I think that's what it comes down to. And I think they think they're going to win within this Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry time period at a center. And we're going to get into the fine details. But let's start with what Kristaps Porzingis did for the Celtics and what why he's expandable. So, obviously, 2024, the Celtics won an NBA championship. We move on from Robert Williams. I say we because I'm a Celtics fan. Move on from Robert Williams, where he was only an offensive threat from above the rim. Get Kristaps Porzingis, who can space the floor. Imagine spacing the floor, and you have Steph, and you have Jimmy, who doesn't really space the floor, but then you have Kristaps and Steph. It just makes sense. Kristaps, great shot blocker when healthy. Great three-point shooter when healthy. The thing is, though, it's a big asterisk is when healthy. He didn't play in, I would say, half the games this season. Last season, he missed pretty much the whole NBA playoffs, played in, I think, 3 or 4 games, which is just abysmal for someone who you expect to be this all-star-ish caliber center. So the only thing about Kristaps is his injury history, but I mean, he brought the Celtics a championship ring, and maybe he'd go to Golden State and win a championship ring there. I think obviously the Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler window is a very small window. So I think bringing Kristaps Porzingis, who will add rebounding in size, what the Warriors have just been missing the last 10 years. Like Kevon Looney, Trace Jackson Davis, even Quentin Post is getting run for them this year at center. They didn't have a true center. They literally swapped out those 3 from the start of the NBA season to the end of the NBA season. Like Trace Jackson Davis was DNPs in the playoffs with Kevon Looney coming up and Quentin Post coming up when Trace Jackson Davis started the season. So obviously they have a center problem in Golden State, and it's been a center problem for a long time. So I think Kristaps Porzingis could add, obviously, the size they're looking for, but the three-point shooting that goes along with Steph Curry. I think Steve Kerr would just be delighted to have Kristaps Porzingis on his court if he's healthy. Now, what would this trade package look like? That's why you clicked on this video. You want to see the trade. I'm with it right now. There's a player on the Warriors that gets DNPs, and he probably wouldn't get DNPs in any other situation. He's a young player, very talented, in the right situation. Just the coaching staff did not like the decisions he was making on the court. They thought he was a little bit more selfish. He thought he could have passed up a few different looks. Really, the thing was not getting Steph the ball when Steph deserved the ball, and I understand that, but that's Jonathan Kuminga. Let's be real. We're on the same page. He's obviously due for a contract extension also, so that's probably what's going to happen. It's going to be a sign and trade, Kristaps for Kuminga. I'm going to go straight up. Am I, as a Celtics fan, do I like that? No. I don't like Jonathan Kuminga. I don't think he fits well on this team at all. I think he should go to a team like the Pelicans, like the Hawks, like the Nets, somewhere where he can break out. Like you see Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges, what they did in Brooklyn. They broke out. Those are breakout caliber players. On the Phoenix Suns, they were role players. Go to the Brooklyn Nets, they're breakout candidates, and then Mikal Bridges gets traded for 5 first-round picks to the New York Knicks, who's down 3-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals. But you understand what I'm saying. I don't think Jonathan Kuminga can do that in Boston. Maybe, just maybe, this upcoming year because of Tatum being injured and our forward depth isn't really there with Tatum being hurt. But when Tatum comes back, it's like, okay, what can this kid really flourish in? He's not a great three-point shooter. He's athletic. He's a decent defender, but he doesn't make great offensive decisions offensively. And I just don't think he will be a perfect or even a good fit in Boston. But if that's what we're going to get for Kristaps Porzingis, that's what we're going to get. I don't think we're going to get a lot for him just because obviously we need to move on from him for the salary cap issue. I understand there's like a private investor. I just don't think that's true or it's not going to happen. But obviously we need to move on from Kristaps Porzingis and getting Jonathan Kuminga. That means we lose center depth. Luke Cornett, obviously, also an unrestricted free agent. I think he will return. Al Horford probably will return to the Boston Celtics. But with the Celtics losing size, three-point shooting, they're bringing Jonathan Kuminga. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we turn him into a Jaylen Brown-esque player. That's kind of what, if Jaylen Brown's an A, Jonathan Kuminga is that same build, but probably like at a C, C minus. An athletic build who, can develop hopefully a 3-point shot. Definitely has the defensive ability to be, I'm not going to say elite, but above average. And I don't know. I'm trying to convince myself that, he's only 21 years old. He has a lot to prove in this league. And maybe, if there's one franchise, one system that can build him up, it's the Boston Celtics, who brought up Tatum and Brown as, drafted young forwards, obviously Pierce and them, etc. But like, I'm talking the last 10 years, Tatum and Brown drafted a 3rd overall pick. Kuminga, obviously a lottery pick for the Warriors, being one of the Warriors, but he just gets DMPs. He just kind of, especially when they got Jimmy Butler, like that's another, Kuminga and Jimmy Butler play very similar, so it's hard to get them both in the rotation at the same time. But I think this is a win-win for both franchises, just because A, the Warriors get a player they can plug in right away and play 30 minutes a night when healthy, and B, the Celtics get off the $30 million that Kristaps is owed. I don't know how much Kuminga is going to sign for. I'm going to guess around 20. So us going on from 30 to 20 million, obviously there's $10 million that we save, and we get a young player, Jonathan Kuminga, and who knows? Maybe, this is crazy, and Kristaps will go to the Lakers, or Kristaps will go to a team that needs a center. I can't think off the top of my head. So I genuinely think it's either the Warriors or the Lakers. The Warriors just makes the most sense. The Celtics have a player who they need to get rid of. The Warriors have a player that they obviously need to get rid of. Why not trade them for each other? The Warriors can go to win now. The Celtics can get a young player to try to develop. It doesn't make sense on my end, but I think you guys know where I'm going here. Well, let's actually talk about the game tomorrow night. We dabbled into a little bit. The Knicks and Pacers, this series has been absolutely insane. I love talking about basketball. We're going to talk Friday or Saturday whenever we know, like, pretty much who's going to be in the NBA Finals. We're going to do a recap of the whole playoffs going into the NBA Finals and that. But let's get into our daily dabble. If you don't know what Dabble Fantasy is, it's a DFS app where you get to pick more or less on your favorite players' player props on any single sport. UFC, NBA, NFL, MLB, anything, tennis, golf, whatever you want to try to, make some cash on, do it on Dabble Fantasy. And right now, boom, you get $25 and you go to All Talk Sports, free by the way. You don't have to put in a single dollar, and you get $25 and you go to All Talk Sports. Link in the description. Let's go into my play. Boom. There it is right there. We got to ride Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. I think Karl-Anthony Towns is going to go off tonight as well. Tomorrow night as well. And I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson more than points too, because it's a must-win game. It's in Madison Square Garden. This is the Dabble play. If you want to copy it, check it out right now. Shout out Dabble Fantasy. They're literally the GOAT DFS app. They have a For You page. They have everything that you need in a DFS app. They have live streams. They're adding stories. They have rockets. It's just the GOAT DFS app. And let me know down below any other controversial topics you guys want me to talk about in the NBA season. And hit the subscribe button for more. That's all I got today. Peace.